I want you to know how Mexico treats foreigners. And I want you to understand that the United States Senate, McCain, Graham, Rubio, who's the other one? Flake, clearly not the Democrats, didn't do a damn thing about it. Nothing. Nothing. Because in Mexico, they want people in the shadows. All kinds of people in the shadows. I guess you call them nativists, Mr. Producer. Oh, yes, Mexico's full of nativists and xenophobes. Now, this is from 2010 when I did it, so there may be some adjustments, but on the edges, that's all. Mexico welcomes only foreigners who will be useful to Mexican society. Foreigners are admitted into Mexico, quote, according to their possibilities of contributing to national progress. This is in their Constitution, in their general law. That's Article 32. Immigration officials must ensure that immigrants will be useful elements for the country and that they have the necessary funds for their sustenance and for their dependents. That would be Article 34. Foreigners may be barred from the country if their presence upsets the equilibrium of the national demographics. When foreigners are deemed detrimental to economic or national interests, when they do not behave like good citizens in their own country, when they have broken Mexican laws, and when they are not found to be physically or mentally healthy. That's Article 37. The Secretary of Governance may suspend or prohibit the admission of foreigners when he determines it to be in the national interest. That would be Article 38. I've only just begun. Mexican authorities must keep track of every single person in the country. Federal, local, and municipal police must cooperate with federal immigration authorities upon request, that is, to assist in the arrests of illegal immigrants, Article 73. A national population registry keeps track of every single individual who comprises the population of the country and verifies each individual's identity. That would be Articles 85 and 86. A national catalog of foreigners tracks foreign tourists and immigrants, that's Article 87, and assigns each individual with a unique tracking number. That's Article 91. Foreigners with fake papers who enter the country under false pretenses may be imprisoned. Foreigners with fake immigration papers may be fined or imprisoned, Article 116. Lots of articles here. Foreigners who sign government documents with a signature that is false or different from that which he normally uses are subject to fine and imprisonment. Article 116. Foreigners who fail to obey the rules will be fined, deported, and or imprisoned as felons. That would be Article 117. Foreigners who are deported from Mexico and attempt to re-enter the country without authorization can be imprisoned for up to 10 years. That would be Article 118. Foreigners who violate the terms of their visa may be sentenced to up to 6 years in prison, Articles 119, 120, and 121. Foreigners also who misrepresent the terms of their visa while in Mexico, such as working without a permit, can also be imprisoned. As I say, this was the law a few years ago. Maybe they made some adjustments, but to my knowledge, and I've looked, there hasn't been comprehensive Mexican immigration reform. Under Mexican law, illegal immigration is a felony. In our country, it's a misdemeanor. The general law on population says at Article 123, a penalty of up to 2 years in prison and a fine of 300 to 5,000 pesos will be imposed on the foreigner who enters the country illegally. Foreigners with legal immigration problems may be deported from Mexico instead of being imprisoned, Article 125. Foreigners who attempt against national sovereignty or security will be deported. That's their language, not mine. Article 126. Mexicans who help illegal aliens enter the country are themselves considered criminals under the law. A Mexican who marries a foreigner with the sole objective of helping the foreigner live in the country is subject to up to 5 years in prison. Article 127. Shipping and airline companies that bring undocumented foreigners into Mexico will be fined. Article 132. Pretty tough, wouldn't you say, ladies and gentlemen? What did these 14 Republicans do about this law? Did they insist on comprehensive Mexican immigration reform? Apparently not. See, illegal aliens in our country have it really, really great. They get to go to school, they get medical care, they get food. Democrats are pushing to have them covered by Obamacare. You know, on and on and on. Certainly can't deport them. No, can't do that. And unless they commit really, really serious crimes, and we happen to catch them 2, 3, 4 times, they don't go to prison, but they're stuck in the shadows. In Mexico, you're stuck in prison, or you're deported. Now, they can do it, but we can't, because we won't. More on Mexico's constitution. Non-citizens are forbidden to participate in demonstrations or express opinions in public about domestic politics. This is in their constitution. Article 9 states, quote, only citizens of the republic may do so to take part in the political affairs of the country, unquote. Article 33 is unambiguous, quote, foreigners may not in any way participate in the political affairs of the country, unquote. How about that one? The Mexican Constitution denies fundamental property rights to foreigners. And I'm going to get into this. There's much more. Much, much, much more. And to hear Lindsey Graham and McCain and Flake and our friend Rubio, and to hear the Democrats and to hear Obama go on and on and on about our country, about the American citizen, about our border, what America's all about, what America offers. What a bunch of suckers. What a bunch of suckers we are to put up with this. Look how Mexico treats human beings. I mean, we deserve a gold star. I don't know what they should get. A few years ago, I made a suggestion, and I want to reiterate right now. I think we should take the Mexican immigration law in its disparate parts throughout its Constitution and its general law and stamp on the cover, United States of America, comprehensive immigration reform. So that's the Levin proposal. That's our proposal. We put it right out there and call Mexico's bluff and further expose the idiocy of what the United States Senate is doing, the idiocy of what is the Jeb Bush, Karl Rove, and all the rest of them and their position, and what is likely to go down in the House of Representatives. Folks, we are the suckers of the world. No country is as tolerant of illegal foreigners coming into their country as we are. Unless, of course, it's part of the death wish that these old European countries have. But Mexico absolutely refuses to do what our United States Senate insists that we do. So the Levin proposal is take the Mexican law on the cover, stamp United States of America comprehensive immigration reform, and put it up for a vote. Let me continue with Mexico's immigration system. The Mexican Constitution denies fundamental property rights to foreigners. If foreigners wish to have certain property rights, they must renounce the protection of their own governments or risk confiscation. Foreigners are forbidden to own land in Mexico within 100 kilometers of land borders or within 50 kilometers of the coast. Specifically, Article 27 states, only Mexicans by birth or naturalization and Mexican companies have the right to acquire ownership of lands, waters, and their appurtenances, or to obtain concessions for the exploitation of mines or of waters. The state may grant the same right to foreigners, provided they agree with the Ministry of Foreign Relations to consider themselves as nationals in respect to such property and bind themselves not to invoke the protection of their governments in matters relating thereto, under penalty, in case of noncompliance with this agreement, of forfeiture of the property acquired to the nation. Under no circumstances may foreigners acquire direct ownership of lands or waters within a zone of 100 kilometers along the frontiers and of 50 kilometers along the shores of the country. Wow. So progressive. The Mexican Constitution denies equal employment rights to immigrants, even legal ones, in the public sector. Here's Article 32. Quote, Mexicans shall have priority over foreigners. Oh, imagine if we did this. Just imagine. Mexicans shall have priority over foreigners under equality of circumstances for all classes of concessions and for all employment, positions, or commissions of the government in which the status of citizenship is not indispensable. In time of peace, no foreigner can serve in the army, nor in the police or public security forces. We have foreigners in our military. The Mexican Constitution guarantees that immigrants will never be treated as real Mexican citizens, even if they are legally naturalized. Article 32 bans foreigners, immigrants, and even naturalized citizens of Mexico from serving as military officers, Mexican flagship and airline crew, and chiefs of seaports and airports. An immigrant who becomes a naturalized Mexican citizen can be stripped of his Mexican citizenship if he lives again in the country of his origin for more than 5 years. See, they don't put up with dual citizenship. Under Article 37, Mexican-born citizens risk no such loss. Hence, Mexican citizens come to this country illegally and stay for 10, 20, 30 years. No fear of losing their Mexican citizenship. Foreign-born, naturalized Mexican citizens may not become federal lawmakers, Article 55, cabinet secretaries, and so forth. Let's see here. According to Article 33, the federal executive shall have the exclusive power to compel any foreigner whose remaining he may deem inexpedient to abandon the national territory immediately and without the necessity of previous legal action. In other words, no due process whatsoever. So there are some of the highlights of Mexico's immigration laws, some of it enshrined in their constitution and in their general law. Pretty brutal, I would say, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very brutal. Not just toward Americans, but anybody else in Latin, South America who should try to go into or through Mexico or any other part of the world. And so the Levin proposal is out there. If it's good enough for Mexico, the Mexican government, our dear partner south of the border, then it surely should be good enough for the United States of America. Now keep in mind the incredible double standard of the Mexican government. The Mexican government is in our court system constantly, defending its citizens against decisions by our states and federal government. They're in our court system constantly, claiming that their citizens are treated inhumanely, or that their citizens deserve equal protection, or that the states have no authority to institute federal immigration law. Their consulates in this country are used to promote propaganda, to encourage their citizens to use welfare in this country, food stamps, and you name it. This is an amazing thing. None of that goes on in Mexico for American citizens by the American government. None of it. None of it. So here we are, months and months. Every 4 or 6 years, the country is dragged into this debate. The Democrat Party could care less what Mexico does to Americans in Mexico or Guatemalans in Mexico or Peruvians in Mexico. Doesn't matter. They don't give a damn. No reciprocity. They just want voters. Chamber of Commerce just wants cheap labor. The union bosses just want more dues-paying members. And the Republican Party wants to destroy the conservative movement and replace it with other people. I guess. A completely insane Republican Party. Absolutely, utterly insane. And I mention this all the time. Why do you keep attacking the Republicans? I'm attacking people within the Republican Party who are destroying it. And the fact that other hosts don't do it and don't name these people by name, shame on them, because they give cover to these people. Obama's not destroying the Republican Party. The rhinos are destroying the Republican Party. And one other point on this. I'm tired of the racialists. It's a new word. But we can pick up new words here. It's a liberal word, but we'll use it. I'm tired of the racialists in the Republican Party. The Karl Roves. Hey, we can't just win with white voters. Like we have the Republican White National Committee. What the hell is with this guy? He thinks that way. You and I don't think that way. Do you think that way? Oh, we can't just win with white people. Who thinks this way? Who talks this way? These people have been so corrupted. Their minds are so feeble. They go from one fight to the other as the country unravels. It's pathetic. So we have these Republican racialists. That's what I'm going to call them, which means every other host will use it now, like corporatists and statists and utopians. That's good. We want to spread the word. We have these Republican racialists who are obsessed with race-based politics now. You can hear it in Lindsey Graham and John McCain. And McCain all but said the other day on Fox that if you don't support this bill that he voted for, then you have other motives. And Fox News Channel, that's what he said, and Fox News Channel is extremely supportive of this bill, based on what I'm watching, the different hosts and so forth. And that's fine. They can take whatever position they want. I know Rupert Murdoch's a big open borders guy, so I guess it's coming down from on high. But you can definitely see the attitude there, and that's okay, with many of the hosts even taking positions in favor of it. having never read it, of course. But this is racial politics. This is race pandering. It's exactly the sort of thing that conservatives have rejected as destructive of the fabric of this nation. And you're not going to assimilate people in this country when they hear this kind of talk, whether it's from Lindsey Graham and John McCain and Karl Rove, or from Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, and Nancy Pelosi. It's the same destructive propaganda, and it is race baiting, and it's race pandering, and it is exactly what I say it is. Racialist, Republican operatives and politicians. This is why you reject it, ladies and gentlemen. This is not our heritage. This is not our belief system as the American people. We welcome people who come here from all over the world, all walks of life, all colors, all heights, all kind of genitalia, whatever you want, with open arms. Just get in line, follow our laws, don't cheat as your first act in America. Because that's what we are, Americans who play by the rules. And we expect visitors who come here, even people who come here uninvited. We expect them to play by the rules too, but apparently it's too much. Because you see, members of Congress aren't used to playing by the rules anymore. They're scheming. They're the ones who are in the shadows, cutting their little deals, putting pork barrel stuff in here. And so it is, one more time, the Levin proposal. Take the Mexican immigration laws, which also are in the Mexican Constitution, take the cover page, stamp United States of America, comprehensive immigration reform, and put it on the floor of the Senate, put it on the floor of the House, and see how many of them support it. Because not a damn one of these Republicans who vote for this stuff, not one, insisted on reciprocity from the country of Mexico. Not one.